You guys are good.
Alright.
We recording.
Are we recording?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
I was like, wait a minute, what? Damn.
Wait, is that how I'm looking? Hold on a second.
How you get it? That's that masculine
Is that masculine energy?
I'm like, damn, let me say sorry. Let me get my shaving done. Hello, everybody. So you see, we like to have fun in this bitch.
Always.
Nevertheless, hello, everybody. I'm gonna start take 2, 3, 4. My name is Shelon Douglas, known as your coldest boss. Welcome to another episode to It's Rules to This Shit. Today, we're going to be talking about good ideas versus fucked up ones. And I am just so elated to have my partner / colleague, Cameron, here with us on another episode. Are you having fun?
I am having so much fun.
It's not boring?
No, it's not boring. I'm gleaning. So it's always fun to glean.
See,
It's always fun to glean.
Like, not bling bling, but glean
Glean,
glean.
glean.
Right, but nevertheless, you guys, she is doing another episode with me, and I'm just so elated so that we can get on this particular topic about, good ideas versus fucked up ones. How do you know if you have a good idea versus a fucked up one? Do you know?
Oh, for me, I'm very, I'm like signs driven. So I'm like, give me a sign that this feels good. It has to feel good. It has to feel good. For me personally. So
I can understand where you're coming from that. What I want to touch on though is because being in the business of ideation and helping the entrepreneurs with their startups and working on brands for other clients, right, and their business model and such. Yeah, sometimes people's ideas, they're just like assholes. Everybody got one. I just thought I would just share that. But if you guys know me by now, I just keep it straight. I'm just, very direct. But I'm also very serious in delivering valuable, information to help you, right? And so not every idea is a good one. And how do you know if you have a good idea or not? Number one, I would suggest that if you come up with an idea, it's okay to share that idea with a couple of people. Get up to like between 10 and 25 people. And then you might say, well, Shelon, I don't want nobody to steal my idea. Trust me, there's nothing new really like under the sun. So, I would just suggest that you go to 10 to 25 people who you think you can trust. Don't worry about them trying to run out and steal your idea and blah, 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 blah. Because 9 times out of 10, whatever idea you have, somebody else has thought of at the same time. It's just a matter of, is your idea going to be manifested into doing it a little bit better than the next person? But that's one of the things that I always recommend and suggest is that we call that getting out of the building, going to talk to different people. It's just a term, get out of the building. Talking to several different people about your idea. So that's just kind of like my feedback that I wanted to share as far as like how you go about to validate your idea, okay. Right? But sometimes some ideas are not worth validating. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you, right? Yeah, some of y'all ideas is shitty. You don't say it.
she said it.
I said it.
She said what she said.
It really is. And sometimes when I hear stuff, I gotta keep a smile on my face like, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, have you thought about if you ever work with me and if I ever do this to you and I say, okay, well, have you thought about such and such? That's just me being diplomatic to say, get that shit, throw that shit out the window. That ain't it. That's not gonna work. Some people want to sing, and they sound good in the shower, and then you gotta like let them know gently, like, boo, you got a singing voice, you got a shower singing voice, but we can't go sell no records with this. Anyway, so hopefully, that was just a little bit of valuable content to let you know as far as like an idea versus bad fucking ones, right? So do you guys have any questions? I think at this point I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for questions because I want this to be about you guys asking your questions, and then for you too in the audience, if you have questions, please be sure to jot your questions down below in the comments, and I promise to answer every single last one of them. So with that being said, I'm going to open the floor and see if you guys have questions that I can help you answer.
Well, you spoke on some ideas you have to pivot
Yes.
And others, you have an iteration of your original idea. What is the process of determining which route to take, the iteration or the pivot?
Excellent question, because sometimes, like for an example, so I'm going to use a scenario of building out a tech platform, right? You've gone to at least go through the first phase, because when you're building out a solution, there's phases, right? And in this case, if I'm talking about a tech platform, there are a certain number of features before. So let's just say that your solution might have a number of, let's just say 8 features, right? You're not going to develop out all 8 features in the beginning. We always advise that whatever your highest, most feasible, whatever the highest, most feasible feature is, that you're going to use that one to start off with. So sometimes that might be 1 to 2 features when you're first building out a tech solution. And in your process of building that out, one of the things that you want to know is if you have customers or clients or customers that will be interested. So you have to do your testing with your marketing, some slight marketing with that. If you find yourself that you are marketing, like, you can have such things like different marketing campaigns. And so you can have a test A marketing campaign and a test B marketing campaign, because you can have different marketing campaigns for the same product.
Right.
And so, and you want to know also too what's working even in that. That's a whole nother conversation, right? I promise I'll get on that one in another episode. But just to get to your question. So for an example, if you're doing test A marketing and you find that test A and test B, and you find that you don't have enough traction there's like not a lot of people who's interested in your product, then it's time to kind of like see, and hopefully too, by this time, I'm speaking in terms of maybe you have an MVP set up, your minimum viable product. I'm not talking about a prototype at this point. I'm talking about a little bit further than that. So if you find yourself that you're at that stage and you don't really have people like interested, you don't even have enough eyeballs interested, let alone actual, you know what I'm saying, paying customers that's interested in those first couple of features, then maybe we might need to do a pivot, right? But say for example, you might have a platform built out with a couple of features. And instead of what you intended to use it for, maybe you just need to pivot. I'm sorry, not pivot, you guys. Iterate it to be used a little differently. Right? So I gave you the example of YouTube. They had the same platform. It was originally used for a dating site. Then it got picked up, it got acquired by Google, right? And then Google decided to use it because Google's known for searching. So they decided to use YouTube instead of for a dating site. They're now using it for like other creators to be able to load their content, showcase whatever videos that they have. It's not used for dating purposes. They iterated that platform. They didn't get rid of the entire product. They just changed the way that it was being used for. So that's iteration. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Did I answer your fucking question?
You did answer my question. You did.
You have to say I answered your fucking question.
You answered my fucking question. Which actually spawned another thought. What is, if there is at all, the time frame that you spend on this process that you just spoke to? Is there a hard cutoff, like once you meet this point or this criteria, is there a certain point that you say, okay, at this point we are going to pivot, at this point we are going to trash completely, or at this point we are going to iterate?
I think it really depends on your team, like if you have a team, it really depends on you. Like again, like I was saying, after that testing point, everyone should have goals set. And if it's taking so long to reach those goals, then yeah, something might be wrong with the founder or the creator versus the creation. I think it just depends. I wouldn't say that there's really like a set time, because sometimes some of the most successful products that you see today, believe it or not, it's been like 10 years
Yeah.
before you've seen it. And that's another thing too. Even like accredited investors or savvy investors could tell you something like, oh, like Shark Tank, they do it a lot of times where they've missed out on opportunities. They've told folks no who came to pitch to them, like, oh, you know, either they didn't have enough traction, they didn't have enough customers, they didn't have enough, you know, because they're all about numbers, they didn't have enough. But then you turn around and you hear about that same individual that pitched to them, did it on their own, and now they're worth a $1 billion valuation. So there's really, to me, honestly, there's no set time.
Okay.
If you have a short, like a tight-knit strategic plan, a business model that's airtight, because their business model, even within that, there's like 12 elements that you need to have that you know, creates a really strong business model.
Okay.
And then the right advisors, the C-suite team that you need to be a part of your corporation, because you never want to do it alone. It needs to be at least 2 or plus. Really, if you only have 2 co-founders, it's really like doable. But this is again at different stages. So right now I'm talking in terms of it's rules to this shit. So I can, everything that I want to say, I couldn't even, this episode would be like 2+ hours long, but it's real because there's levels to this shit. So based off of where the level you're at, and then the rules that are applied within that level. And again, I'm not going to say that there's a time frame, because for some of the things that I've even done, they didn't happen overnight. And they're not going to happen overnight. And when you do see all of a sudden a platform that just seemed like it seems seamless, it's flawless, it's beautiful, it's this, it's that, it's probably because of the number of fucking so-called failures, aka lessons, that they got along the way, and they found the right way to perfect what it is that they have to offer, even if that includes iterating or pivoting. But they didn't stop.
So what it sounds like is a good idea versus a terrible idea, is a fucked up idea, is born from research and testing.
Yes.
And
what you call validating.
And only you and your team will really know the time frame that it takes to do that.
Right, because everybody's product or platform or business model is not the same. And that's another goddamn thing too I want to just say on this episode is good ideas versus fucked up ones. Please have some type of mentor and advisor that can really help you shorten the distance, really help you work through the formula of what's a good idea and what's not about not a good, I was going to say what's not a bad idea, but what's a good idea versus a bad idea. I mean, there are rules to how you do that. There are steps to how you do that. And if you have somebody that has done it before and has been successful, that's another thing. Work with somebody that's been successful at doing what it is that you're fucking trying to do. Stop trying to cut corners and figure that you can do this out on your own. You can, but it's gonna cost you a whole lot of lessons, okay? So hopefully that answered your question.
It did. Thank you very much.
So my team is telling me in the background that we need to wrap this up. I don't know how long this episode was, because I know the last episode they said it was like long, you know? So we gonna cut this up a little short this time, or shorter I should say. I ain't gonna ever cheat y'all. I will never, ever, ever, ever do that to you, okay? But I am gonna keep it real and 100 with you. And you know, yeah, so keep coming back every week where we are just gonna be spitting out knowledge and information. If you have questions, again, make sure you jot them down below. I promise to answer every single last one of them. I am hoping that you're getting something out of the episodes that I am spitting out to you guys every week. And just so that you know, when we do come together and I get in front of a camera with my guests, colleagues, my team, I never know what the hell I'm going to say. I just shoot from the dome. I want this to be so authentic and so real for you guys, because I'm doing this to give back to you guys, okay? Yeah, so be sure to like, follow, share, hit that goddamn button, okay? So you can know when I'm coming on again to give y'all some more knowledge in this game. It's rules to this shit. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys, and I look to be back next week. Take care.